Hello and welcome everybody to yet another episode of We Need to Crypto Talk. Today I would first like to apologize that I'm in a very noisy space, so there can be some noises coming in this interview, which I'm going to conduct with Saransh Sharma. I'm really sorry, guys. So like I told, joining us in this episode as a guest is Saransh Sharma. As per the first information I have received about him, he has been an active investor in many projects around the world. You must be wondering what is the conventional investors doing on a crypto show? Well, it seems the man has interest in the blockchain space and is actively participating in the ICOs. I wanted to know which ICOs were they, so I just thought to send him an email and confirm that right from him. So, what can I tell more? Let's confirm from him.
How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Fantastic, can't complain.
Well, I'm not complaining actually because this is the first time I'm interviewing an investor. I have mostly interviewed people who are the CEOs and CTOs of certain projects, and so this is my first one. And you're gonna treat me so nicely because I'm completely unfamiliar how you guys work with. Uh, so my first question would be to you because I know that you are into crypto space, but before that, let's step back and let's know more about you. That how long are you in this industry, in the investment industry?
Sure. So my genesis in the investment field started about 20 years ago. I'm a student of finance. I studied that in college, got my bachelor's, and then I moved on to working as a stockbroker in New York City for a number of years. And from there, I became a fixed income research analyst for AllianceBernstein, which is an $890 billion asset management company. Worked with them for about 7 years. I was let go in 2009. Found myself reinventing myself all over again. This time around, I got involved with Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, conducted a number of transactions in that space in excess of 50 to $100 million for Twitter and in excess of 650 million for Facebook. Then I got involved with real estate projects. Then I got involved with the Plaza Hotel, the Dream Hotel, the Grosvenor House Hotel. Then I got involved with private jets, Formula One racing teams, cricket teams. The list goes on. Then I retired for a little while and shifted focus towards healthcare, which is where we focused on for the last 2.5 years, acquiring a number of assets in urgent care, substance abuse facilities, pharmacies, uh, and now just venture into waste to energy.
Pass through, but you haven't stuck to one industry for a very long time. So why crypto?
The principles and fundamentals of investing remain the same.
All right.
All that changes is the asset class. It's much like a product. So, for example, if you bought stocks, in many ways, the way you would value a stock is similar to the way you would value a fixed income security, with except duration being one component of it, which is a technical phrase that I threw out there. So, from an investing standpoint, it's always the same concept. So it's no different with this asset class, which is the digital assets, cryptocurrencies.
Right.
They're just another form of product which utilize the same fundamental investing principles.
But
So it
may I
allows us to
ask?
be
But may I ask, why is it interesting to you?
well, it's always when you look at the currencies around the world, when you look at the way government and infrastructure has been laid out, it's very archaic. There's in human life only been four, maybe five asset classes that have existed. Stocks being one of them, bonds being another one of them, alternative investments being another, and commodities being another. I can't think of another asset class unless there is one. So digital assets is the birth of a new asset class that never existed prior to in human history. So, with that said, you're standing at the advent of something that is so uncharted, that is not very well understood. But if you apply the fundamentals of finance, you should be able to understand how to position yourself in this new emerging reality. Plus, the world wants transparency. The world wants more control. Nobody likes to give taxes and have the government spend it in manners which is unacceptable to the masses. So there is this movement arising, which is more peer to peer, and you can't deny that. So in lieu of that, our focus was let's position ourselves because we're looking at this for the next 20 years, for the next 30 years. The family offices that I represent, they already have multi-generational wealth. They're not looking at it from, hey, how can I make, a buck in the next month? Wealth preservation is what's important to them, and then they see this being the avenue for the next multi-generational wealth creation experience. Partially because the supply is limited. All these coins, you don't have an endless supply of them. So as long as the technology makes sense and the technology is applicable to real-world scenarios, you have great opportunities ahead.
It sounds like you are already investing in some ICOs. So do you have you added any portfolio, added any new ICOs into the portfolio yet?
We've been interviewing a number of opportunities. We've explored at least 7 or 8 different ICOs in depth.
Hmm.
We found that most of them were unable to answer a couple of unique questions that we are looking to have answered. One being widespread adoption. How is it that you get a massive audience to embrace the concept? Secondly, the validity of the technology. Is the technology actually sound? Does it actually solve genuine problems, or is it just an ICO based on hype? I don't know how familiar you are, but in the crypto universe, energy is of great concern because it's consuming a lot of
Of
energy.
course, of course.
Um, every single Bitcoin transaction consumes as much energy as 5,000 credit card transactions. Or another parable to it would be 7.55 average US household energy consumption for a day is what one Bitcoin transaction takes. So, what we have at least witnessed is nobody's able to answer the issues of how are you going to make this sustainable.
Hmm.
And so as we've evaluated, we came across 4NEW, which is one of the ICOs we've heavily invested in.
Hmm.
And really the reason behind that was not only do they provide power, but more importantly, they provide power from waste. There are other players out there who have attempted to solve this problem. They've used solutions like geothermal energy or water. And
Hmm.
while these are great ideas, both geothermal energy and water are rather localized resources. It's not like you have geothermal energy everywhere on planet Earth, and it's not like you have water everywhere on planet Earth.
Hmm.
However, one thing you do have everywhere on planet Earth is human being, and human being has a tendency to produce a lot of waste, and therefore you have fuel that can be utilized to produce energy,
Hmm.
which can then sustain mining farms globally. If there is such a rampant, sustainable, scalable cryptocurrency adoption that does occur.
Well, let me ask this. I mean, 4New sounds like a mining farm to me that is taking in waste energy and providing it for the farms to, build cryptocurrencies on the top of it. Is it a cryptocurrency in itself, or is it just providing this service to the mining facilities out there?
Sure. So that's a great question, Yashu. And the way I would architect the answer to that is, the way you want to look at Forney, because in itself is such a revolutionary idea,
Hmm.
it's a blockchain with its own rechargeable battery pack, figuratively speaking. The waste to energy plant is the battery pack. What we do is collect the waste, convert it to energy, and we produce close to 10 megawatts of power per hour. And that's just getting started. As the operation grows and 12 months into sustainability, the power can grow to as much as 40 megawatts per hour.
Hmm.
So you have a huge amount of energy that's being produced from waste, along with byproducts such as jet fuel and clean
Hmm.
water and fertilizer and ash construction bricks that you can utilize. So there's a lot of benefits. It has a zero impact on the environment, so to speak. So with that said, the way to imagine this is it's a tangible battery pack. The energy we produce is free to us because the waste that you're collecting from households,
Hmm.
the revenue that you generate from the collection of the waste sustains the plant and its operations and its maintenance at break even.
Hmm.
Therefore, instead of selling the to a power plant, you actually, or a national grid for that matter, you can actually utilize the energy to sustain a full-blown mining farm with servers stacked up, and now you have a global infrastructure of miners who
Hmm.
can peg their, wallet addresses and mine, utilize the servers they pay for with. So it truly allows for a model.
That's very, very interesting to know. But don't you think that this facility it is itself very much location based? You cannot like expand it everywhere in the world. There might be some local laws related to waste management. Uh,
Yes. So every country you reach into has a different set of rules and regulations that you have to abide by. So it
right.
does take time to get one of these things set up. The good news is the 4NEW team, the management team, as well as the advisory panel, is extremely seasoned. I mean, there are folks on the team that have owned 6 plants in the past. There are folks that are currently operating plants. There are waste to energy plant engineers on the team. So, with that said, the amount of political relationship capital that is already in play allows us to expedite the process of getting a plant set up in UK. On top of that, you have a severe waste surplus issue in UK. I mean, they don't know what to do with their waste. So currently, what you have is the United Kingdom government is actually shipping waste on massive ships, on carriers out of the
Mm.
country to places like Norway now. So imagine the carbon footprint that's causing just to dispose of waste.
Right.
So, we feel like the environment is ripe in UK. And with that said, as we get this plant up and running, the plan is to grow, globally. May it be Asia, Africa, North America. All these continents are ripe. There are waste to energy plants in every continent, so the model is proven.
Mm.
So it's not like we're walking into uncharted territory here. The plants are welcome in India as well. Ironically,
Mm.
the government of India
Right.
has 100 waste to energy plants to be set up around the country. So really, the solution is picking pace.
So you have been mentioning about mining farms. Could you tell me where they will be located?
Sure. So the way the site will be set up is we've got the location set up, we've got the infrastructure of the plant on it,
Mm.
and right beside it will be the location for the mining farm so that transporting energy is relatively easy to do. Servers are going to be installed at this site. It's going to be 24/7 monitored with live camera feed, and all of this will be visible to all miners around the world in order for them to be able to monitor their, site. So that's how we expect to set these plants up as the operation grows. In addition to that, I just want to highlight that a certain allocation of the mining revenue that is generated is going to be reinvested in future locational growth. So as we identify new markets and we get into those markets, we don't intend to do multiple IPO rounds. We intend to reinvest this capital and expand the operation. So from that perspective, we will have a portfolio manager on the team that's going to help manage the portfolio of cryptocurrencies. We also anticipate that this mining operation will actually lead us to mining the top 20 currencies. So you're talking everything from Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and whatever else is to follow in the near future.
Mm.
That's going to be the a la carte menu that we would like to allowing also the miners to determine what exactly do they want to mine.
Mm.
So in that regard, it remains decentralized, putting the power, and not just the power, but also the power to decide in the hands of the consumers of it.
Sure. That's very interesting to notice. But that still doesn't answer that one question. What are you mining with these facilities? ForNew
Sure.
is ForNew a cryptocurrency in its own, or are you
Sure.
mining
So let
altcoins
me
as
let
well?
me architect that because Mirak has a number of relationships
Mm.
with healthcare operators, insurance companies, global money transfer companies.
Mm.
So one of the things we were able to do within our affiliative network was get the 4New coin adopted for utilization.
Okay.
So some of the things in 2018 to look forward to would be you could start using this coin for your medications. You can start using this coin as a tender of payment, that is,
Mm.
towards global money transfer services. And then sometime in the middle of 2018, I would expect insurance companies to come on board. Sometime in January, we would expect telecommunications company coming on board.
Okay.
So what that basically means is if you're a token holder of the 4New coin,
Mm.
you can actually use it to walk into a pharmacy or go online to this pharmacy if you're a US resident and actually purchase your meds and tender payment with the coin. This utility, what makes Bitcoin so popular, and this is what we are attempting to emulate with the 4New coin. In addition to this, what the coin represents is 1 kilowatt of power.
Mm.
So every, the energy produced by the plant, that's the coin of electricity. And therefore, there is a utility to that as well. So miners who actually hold the token are actually buying a future supply of energy
Mm.
upfront. And then what the plant would do is collateralize the energy output of
Mm,
that proportion to the mining database. So let's say if you're a miner and you have 1,000 kilowatts of energy that you can produce,
mm.
you, we would allocate 1,000 kilowatts of energy to you if you owned 1,000 kilowatts worth of points.
All right.
Um, from that perspective, that's your entry into our blockchain. And our blockchain will then provide you endless supply of free energy. So in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever the price of energy is, it doesn't matter. You
Mm.
own the output capacity of 1,000 kilowatts of energy that's being produced. So really the best way to understand the 4NEW coin
Mm.
is it's tokenized electricity. That's what you're buying.
That's really, really interesting to know that, and I haven't heard that term before. Tokenized electricity. That's really sounds very convincing to start with. Uh, but there, once again, I mean, you are involved as an investor in this project, which
Mhm.
which certainly gives me an impression that you won't be inviting people to participate in any kind of ICO if you're having any ICO for that currency. Could you explain me more? That is it a
Sure.
decentralized platform? Is it a centralized platform?
So it is a decentralized platform,
How?
right? Because at the end of the day, any system that you adopt in the crypto space, if you're looking for the success of a currency or a token, you can't get it if it's all consolidated within one hands. The purpose behind this was when you look at a plant
Mm,
and you look at real estate, these are pretty tangible assets. It's easy for a company to procure conventional funding
right.
to acquire a plant or an asset. For this reason, we have facilitated the conventional funding needs for ForNew.
Mm,
However, now as you look at the future of the company and as you look at blockchain development, a
mm,
blockchain cannot organically grow because Mirak says, hey, great, we've got this money and let's put a blockchain together.
yeah,
That's not a successful product. A successful product is built when you have the community that embraces the product.
right.
And so, from that perspective, the community crowd sale is a required component in order to make the product successful. Otherwise, all you are is just a waste to energy plant selling to the national, making some profit. And quite frankly, the use of crypto doesn't mean happy at.
So you are having an ICO down the line.
Yes, yes.
Could
Four
you
News
tell us?
ICO is currently ongoing until January 31st.
It's going right now.
It
So
is
how?
ongoing.
I mean, for our viewers who are new to crypto space, can you explain them that how can they participate in your project?
Sure. The process is pretty streamlined. You go to the website. I believe the tech team has done a phenomenal job at, basically navigating through to a payment dashboard.
Mm,
On clicking joining ICO, you have options to purchase in multiple currencies from Bitcoins to Ethereums to USDs to GBPs.
mm.
So it's a pretty versatile, pretty functional system, and pretty simplistic. I don't think there's anything creative there. All they have to do is go to the website, which is www.4new.co.uk.
Okay. So also let me know, Saransh, that on which technology are you building this platform?
So, there's a lot of options currently that we're seeing. There's a lot of new protocols being underwritten.
Mm,
While at the moment the token has been underwritten on an ERC20 platform, which is the Ethereum platform,
mm,
the smart contract flexibility allows us to do a number of things. However, from a long-term perspective in developing our own blockchain,
mm.
we realize that Ethereum may not be the best, code to utilize.
Scalable
We
issues, yeah.
are, sorry.
There will be scalability issues in the long run. I mean, that's what's going to be
Correct.
my question. Yeah.
Correct. So we are looking at Komodo, we are looking at Stella, we are looking at Ripple as well. But yes, those are questions we are going to be tackling sometime in the month of January of 2018.
Well, I think that would be also, and you've really presented me an altogether different kind of ICO. I've not uh, listened about anything like that before. So I must say that the investors must be pretty much interested in getting inside this space you have created. So thank you very much, Arnash, for speaking to us, and it was a nice chat.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.